Last week, we broke down key levels and scenarios in crypto. We discussed the 7-4K correction in Bitcoin, the 8-3K bounce, and even the CME gap at 84.4. And now, it's all happening, just as forecasted. This video dives into what's next, Ethereum's weakness, SPX panic, and Bitcoin's path toward 120K. Let's get started. Last week, we broke down key levels and scenarios in crypto. We discussed the 7-4K correction in Bitcoin, the 8-3K bounce, and even the CME gap at 84.4. And now, it's all happening, just as forecasted. This video dives into what's next, Ethereum's weakness, SPX panic, and Bitcoin's path toward 120K. Let's get started. The Fear and Greed Index is at record lows, even lower than the COVID crash. This is artificial panic, created by a cocktail of policy shocks. The SPX has been hit hard, with losses rarely seen in history. Most investors are frozen in fear. But the SPX trendline, formed after COVID, is still holding. If it stays above 5,000, markets might stabilize. Until then, traders remain on edge. Bitcoin dropped to 7-4K and bounced, just as expected. We saw a strong reaction from this level, but confirmation only comes if we reclaim the daily trend. 81.2K is our next immediate test. If we break above 83K, CME gap at 84.4 is in play, and beyond that, 85K and 88K are targets. But remember, this market is still fragile. Bitcoin lives in a unique spot, caught between macro fear and its own adoption curve. The blue zone 70 to 7-4K is historically powerful, acting as support during deep corrections in both 2021 and 2023. Trump just announced a 90-day delay on tariffs, excluding China. Instantly, Bitcoin surged to 81K, and the SPX added over $5 trillion in market cap. We said, watch for delay and negotiation headlines. Boom, markets react to just two words, extension and compromise. The EU and Japan are ready to talk. If China joins, tariff panic could fade fast. Crypto is small, only $2 to $3 trillion, but reacts violently to macro headlines. This week is proof. Can Bitcoin survive this chaos? Possibly. If BTC reclaims 70,000 with political or liquidity easing, it could flip the trend. My long-term thesis remains, one Bitcoin could be worth over $400,000 someday. If BTC ever matches gold's market cap, that number could reach $1 million. For that, sovereign adoption is key. The US has hinted at it, but hasn't acted. If they do, that's when things get serious. For now, I'm adding to my HODL wallet at these prices and watching closely. The next 48 hours are critical. If 81.2K breaks upward, we're watching for 83.80 for 0.48588K. If it fails, a revisit to the 74K 71K zone is likely. Short squeezes may play a role. The deeper the fear, the stronger the bounce. The entire market is watching this chart. Let me know in the comments, are we heading to 88K or back to 7-4K first? Like, subscribe, and